Look, if they had a Native American talking about fracking, it wouldn't have been more on the nose than the hefty chicks talking about being comfortable in their body.
She moved herself to tears.
Yeah. All right. Can I just say this? In a world where everyone is freaked out by third-hand smoke, and you're not supposed to have soda pops that are more than 16 ounces, and we're worried about salmon that's raised on a farm versus, and like I said, it's all smoking, tobacco. Hey, let's ban e-cigarettes. How about the negative health aspects of being 150 pounds overweight?
Yeah.
Is anyone, or that's to be celebrated?
Pride and shame is one thing, but if you were to ask any doctor, would you want your child to be obese, overweight, chubby even, versus have a healthy body? Of course they would say they want them to.
I think the point that she's trying to make is we're coming to understand that you can't shame people into being thin. Or at the very least, you can't shame them into being thin in a healthy way. They can shove their fingers down their throat, they can take a ton of diet pills, but you're not going to be able to shame them into being healthy. It just doesn't work.
Right. And, well, sort of and sort of not, because I've seen plenty of instances where people did get shamed into just about everything that worked. But there's still a difference between not shaming somebody and then celebrating somebody who's unhealthy. We don't celebrate smokers. They're unhealthy. We don't celebrate whatever. People don't wear seatbelts. It's not safe. You know what I mean? Like, we don't celebrate people riding motorcycles with no helmet. Like, there's still this thing of, like, I need to be celebrated for who I am. Ironically, coming from the people who are freaked out over, like I said, they've invented third-hand smoke. Fracking is going to kill. Fire's going to come out of your spigot. Like, all radon gas is seeping from the floors. There's environmental allergies. I mean, all the people that are Purelling the most are celebrating the hefty chicks the most. You'll die faster being overweight than you will be a smoker.
But are you truly worried about her health, or are you just exactly?
I'm saying it's hypocritical to go after third-hand smoke and then celebrate hefty chicks. They both have negative health effects.
Yeah, the scale goes from shame to pride with a nice zero in the middle. And while I agree that we probably shouldn't, I don't think we should shame people who are overweight, but I don't think we should celebrate it either. I mean, there's a healthy take care of yourself, but I'm not going to.
Right.
Plus or minus.
Anyway.
But if she's two-fist and a hoagie, I don't get fat by watching her do that.
No.
I might get a little cancer on me if somebody's blowing a cigarette in my face.
Yeah, but the big argument of, as a society, we all pay because we have to pay your health bills and for smokers, and we do all that. Well, it's the same with the two-fisted and the hoagie thing. Either way, I tuned in just at the moment where the hefty chick was telling me she never felt better about herself.
That's unfortunate. I think we can all agree.
She was crying. And listen, I don't know, and you guys tell me, I don't want to sound like a prick. I'm just saying, when did we all have to feel marvelous about ourselves? I mean, what I'm saying is feel marvelous about your role in life. Be a marvelous dad, be a marvelous mom, be a marvelous motorist, be a marvelous lover.
Marvelous motorist.
Hey, lover.
You've got it locked to HTLA Radio 1, New York.
This program is intended for mature audiences only. If you have any homicidal or suicidal feelings, please consult a doctor before listening to this program.
Well, don't do that, because he's going to tell you, geez, get off the coffee and get off the cigarettes. I'll tell you that right now. So do not call your doctor. He'll end our show as we know it. Yes. And, of course, our show is what? Well, it's 3 p.m. Eastern in the big city, yes, in New York. And you are listening to HTLA Radio 1 New York, New York's best talk. And, well, that can only mean one thing. It's time for coffee and cigarettes. Yes, the show that knows just what you need. And today, Thursday, the 12th of March, 2015, I'm thinking you're needing the Thursday double-double. of coffee and cigarettes today. That is what I'm thinking. And today on the big show, 2 more cops have been ambushed in Ferguson as Hillary Clinton is portrayed as Satan by Time magazine. Also, Senator Ted Cruz wants NASA to focus more on space and less on the Earth. This as Hubble finds an ocean on Ganymede, one of Jupiter's moons. And the SAE says racist chant investigations are now underway in Texas and Louisiana. All this and so much more today on the show, so come on in, grab a cup, have a seat, ignore the doctor and light one up. It's coffee time. Well, there it is, the old theme we know and love. The coffee and cigarettes theme. So welcome to the show on this Thursday afternoon, 3:02 p.m. now, and 45 degrees in Central Park right now with the sun shining. And, tomorrow high of 45, Saturday high of 49, and Sunday 47. It's all hovering up there around the 50, and, well... I couldn't be happier about it. So if you're new to the show, I'll explain how this works. And if you're, a regular listener, then just ignore me. I'll go away eventually. How this works is we've got a panel of guest/co-hosts that chime in on the news stories of the day. They're kicking around the old coffee shop here. And, we've been told it's kind of fun. So, without further ado, let's bring on some damn fun. And helping us today bring the fun is, of course, the one, the only, Jenny McCartney in the booth, pushing the buttons, making the show go, and her social media entourage, I guess we'll call them. No, she's shaking her head no. Well, that's just what she always does to me. Anyway, moving on, we also have joining us live from the Mill Bay Studios in beautiful Mill Bay, British Columbia, Canada, the one, the only film director, television, film, documentarian extraordinaire, Louis Lawless. Louis, are you there?
Can you give me any help for $25,000?
Absolutely.
You know how to spell my last name on the check, right? It's Louis Lawless.
Of course we do, sir, and glad to have you here today.
Oh, can we cuss? Can I cuss as I always do on the show?
I think we'll let you go because I've got the button. I can hit it.
It's about fucking time. Move on.
There you go. Also joining us from his beautiful, sprawling, elegant, spacious, whatever you whatever you call it, incredible, I guess is another word. Yeah. The one, the only, Gilbert Gottfried. Great to have you here, sir.
Yes.
Yes. And we're just glad to have you here. Are you good to go?
What the fuck?
What?
I'm ready.
Okay, good. Mm-hmm. It's excellent. I'm glad to hear you ready to go here. Also joining us from his beautiful home in Los Angeles, California, is the one and only Mr. George Takei. George?
I think it's a treat to be here talking with you.
Thank you. It's always good to have you here too.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. So those are the fine gents we have on the show today, and of course, by contract, I guess because when we had Tom Cruise on the show, he made us sign to the fact that he could talk about Scientology for about 30 seconds out of every show. With Gilbert,
yes,
yeah, we had a little different kind of request in the clause there, and that's of course to have him sing.
Yes.
So let me turn it over to Gilbert and let him give you your song for today. Gilbert, if you please.
Na 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 na. Ba ma 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 ma. Oh yeah. Who wants to grow up? Who wants responsibility? Oh no, not me. Who wants to show up and work until you're 93? Now everybody says you're running wild. The teacher's calling you a problem. Ooh. Yes.
There we go. That's the lovely Problem Child song there from his lovely 3 movies. Actually, it was Problem Child 2, and then the made-for-television show movie of the week there, Problem Child 3. Yeah.
But I love every second of it.
Well, and why wouldn't you? Because, I mean, you know, it's just an incredible series of films, and you should be absolutely flattered that they called you back for not only 2, but the 3rd one. Yeah. Yes, it's more action than George is getting. Yeah. Yes. Mm-hmm. So, let's see here. I guess without further ado, we'll move into our first story of the day. And, of course, as I said in the segue there, we've got an interesting story. That's first up. Well, maybe no, it's not interesting. Maybe it's, well, I don't know, what I'd call just old news. Yeah. As the police chief says, 2 officers were shot in Ferguson and ambushed. Yes. In Ferguson, Missouri, the 2 police officers who were shot outside the Ferguson Police Department during a late-night demonstration were ambushed and, quote, lucky to be alive. The police chief of St. Louis County said Thursday, but he called for a measured response by officers to a community now roiled by unrest. We were lucky by God's grace that we didn't lose 2 officers last night, Police Chief John Belmar told reporters today. We could have buried 2 police officers over this. It's a miracle we haven't had any instances similar to this so far during the uprising. The 2 officers took a very hard hit, he said. They were admitted to hospital in serious condition but were released late morning today and are not expected to have any long-term injuries. He said police do not have a suspect in the shootings, but do believe it's likely an unarmed black teen. Oh. The St. Louis County SWAT team looking for suspects in the case swarmed a home about 4 blocks from the police station Thursday morning and took away 2 men and 1 woman in handcuffs. This story, this detail, I should say, comes to us from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Police searched a home in Ferguson this morning following a shooting of 2 officers. According to neighbors, 3 people were taken away in handcuffs. A car was towed from the home. The shootings occurred around midnight last night as demonstrators were winding up another protest following the resignation of the city's police chief in the wake of a scathing Justice Department report alleging bias in the police department and court. This is really an ambush, he says. You can't see it coming, you don't understand what's going to happen, and you're basically defenseless from the fact that it's happening to you at the time. That is something that is very difficult to guard against when you have a group of officers standing in a large group, and certainly gunfire directed at them. Belmar said one of the officers, a 32-year-old, 7-year veteran from nearby Webster Groves, was shot below his right eye. The bullet dodged his right ear. Or lodged, by his right ear. That's nice. Just make fun of me, guys. Yes. Well, it lodged by his right ear, he said. The second officer, a 41-year-old with 14 years on the St. Louis County Force, was hit in the shoulder by a bullet that came out of his back. At the time of the shooting, Belmar said the number of demonstrators had dwindled from around 150 down to about 75, and the number of police at the scene had dropped to about 40. He said the 2 wounded officers were standing in the line of 20 to 25 other officers when 3 or 4 shots were fired from about 120 feet away. I feel very confident that whoever did this was there for the wrong reason, not the right reason, and came there for whatever nefarious reason it was, Belmar said in a news conference, but I do feel like there was an unfortunate association with that gathering, full stop. The shootings comes just hours after Ferguson officials announced that the police chief Thomas Jackson, whose department received scathing criticism from a Department of Justice report for racially biased policing, will resign March 19th. Jackson, 57, became the third top city official to leave following the release of the Justice Department report. Judge Ronald Brockmeyer and city manager John Shaw resigned earlier this week. Lieutenant Colonel Al Eichhoff, serving as acting chief until the city completes a nationwide search for a new police chief, the city said in a news release. Jackson will receive a severance payment of approximately $100,000 and health insurance for 1 year. Belmar said he has called for a measured response to the shootings, but deserved the right to call upon Highway Patrol for additional help if necessary. He said police are planning to assess their security plans outside the Ferguson Police Department and talk to protesters and community leaders about how to move forward. Well, I think probably the top of my list when I would go talk to those protesters is stop shooting us. Yeah. Well, duh.
Use power. That's why power is corrupt, and it is. We see it every day. You see it in every job. It's the same thing.
Well, and you see it in Ferguson like there's no tomorrow. Yep. I think we need to reevaluate that. That's one of the things I've been doing since my phone rang at midnight tonight, says Belmar. We're going to be looking for different ways to approach this. Obviously, my first inclination is to shoot back. My first priority, is to the community, but that's allowed very, very closely to my police officers and making sure that they're able to do what they're supposed to do out there in a safe manner. Yeah. President Obama reared his ugly head. He condemned the killings on Thursday, saying in a tweet that, quote, violence against police is unacceptable. Our prayers are with the officers in Missouri. He wrote, path to justice is one of that we all must travel together. Yes, there you go. That's the official tweet word there. Well, Missouri Governor Jay Nixon said in a statement that his thoughts and prayers were with the officers and their families. Each day, our law enforcement officers risk their lives to protect the public, and the fact that these officers appear to have been intentionally targeted is deeply troubling but completely expected, Nixon said. Yeah. Wow. St. Louis County Executive Steve Stinger said that he is continuing to have talks with Ferguson Mayor James Knowles about the possibility of a St. Louis County Police taking over the duties of the Ferguson Police. No decision on that has been made, but Stinger said that the county is ready to take over if needed. He said Thursday that he was deeply concerned about the officers who had been shot and hopes to move forward with a plan. I would like to see a solution as we move forward that is in the best interest of the residents of Ferguson and our county and our police department, he said. Stinger added that he doesn't believe the shooting will set back any gains made by the city. I don't consider this incident a setback. Well, what the freak would you call it? We're going to have peace and love among the blacks and whites. Bang, bang, bang. Yeah. Oh, yes. Who would think of destroying all that headway? Yeah. Oh, yes. Well, the shootings came as a shock to the crowds gathered outside the police department. DeRay McKeeson, 29, of the most visible protesters in Ferguson, said, "Damn, boy!" He was sitting in his car and about to tweet that the crowd was thinning out when he heard about 4 gunshots to his right. Quote, "It was like pow, 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 pow." 4 consistent shots, he said. I was looking straight up at the police department and I see an officer fall and I see officers around him go down as well. McKeeson said protesters who had been gathered at the police department since 8 p.m. Wednesday hit the ground as soon as the shots rang out and scattered, trying to get to safety amid the chaos. Every single gun any officer had was drawn, and they were all behind something, he said, adding that officers ran and ducked behind cars and the department building itself. St. Louis County alderman posted a Vine showing people crawling on the ground after police reacted to the gunshots. Heather DeMeanne, 44, of St. Charles, Missouri, was live streaming the scene outside the police department when the shots rang out. "Those gunshots went right past my head," says DeMeanne, who is in a wheelchair and tried to duck down. "I tried to go down low so my head wasn't sticking out, but I was still propped up on two wheels." Yeah. She said soon after the shots, a swarm of St. Louis County Police crime scene cars showed up, and later a group of officers marched up the hill on a side street in the direction where the sound of the gunshots had come from. Meanwhile, DeMeanne is adamant that the shooters were not with the demonstrators. These were not unarmed black teens. Yeah. These, of course, were armed black teens. Yeah. Oh, yes. And you could tell because they were wearing shirts saying Black Lives Matter. Yeah. Meanwhile, DeMeanne is adamant that the shooters were not demonstrators. No, the shots came from a block away. Oh, so they're sniping. Yeah. Yes. It's incredibly dangerous to try and link protesters to this without evidence. No, really? Well, we're protesting the whiteys' handling and mistreatment of us black brothers and sisters and Black Lives Matter and bang, bang, bang. No, it wasn't us, motherfucker. You can not say that was us. No. No.
You are a douchebag.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know. I know, but hey, I'm just calling it like I see it. An August 9th shooting of unarmed African-American teen Michael Brown by white Ferguson police officer Darren Wilson set off literally weeks of unrest and violence in the St. Louis suburb. Brown's family issued a statement today condemning those police shootings. "We reject any kind of violence directed towards the members of the police. We just want them to quit busting our ass." Yeah. Yeah. Well, I could go on, but I'm not going to because Ferguson sucks and so do you, and I'm moving the hell on. We're going to go for our first commercial break today on the Coffee Shop. Thursday double here, and when we come back, we'll tell you about the Time cover that has got Hillary looking all demon-like and whatnot. Back in 2.
You've got it locked to New York's best talk, HTLA Radio 1.
What if there was a coffee that was sourced from some of the world's most renowned growing regions? Abundant with rich, fertile soil. What if this coffee was picked at the perfect moment, then packed meticulously and shipped carefully to be roasted under the watchful eye of coffee masters? What if it was expertly blended, ground, and sealed, ensuring maximum flavor and freshness, then brewed in small batches and always served fresh within 20 minutes, just the way you like it? Now, what if this coffee just happened to be the coffee you already know and love? Tim Hortons. Always fresh. Always great tasting coffee.
Man, I've been to a lot of places over these past 50 years. Seen the whole true north strong and free. 'Cause I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Cooksville, Stouffville, Bainesville, Bowmanville, Bonneville, Unionville, Oakville, Dunville, Brockville, Boucherville, Melville, Drummondville, Kentville, Grenville, Morinville, Maryville, Parksville, Stephenville, Sackville, Spring Hill, Westville, Walkerville, hanging on a windowsill. Hey! He said, wow, that's a lot of places. I said, hang on, there's more. I've been to Moncton, Picton, Shannon, Vernon, Stellarton, Hamilton, Nipigon, Nobleton, Yorkton, Brighton, Bolton, Beaverton, Brandon, Edmonton, Walkerton, Wyerton, Granby, Miramichi, Charlottetown, Burnaby, Yellowknife, Whitehorse, Corner Brook, Nunavut. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I crossed the prairies bare, man. I breathed the mountain air. share, man. I'm an everywhere man. Check it out. Ottawa, Wawa, Mattawa, Chippewa, Moose Jaw, Oshawa.
When we arrived at our hotel in New York, the porter was so incredibly careless with our bags. And the room they gave us, it was beautiful. A broom closet. But the worst part was the shower. My wife drying herself with the
Egyptian cotton towels.
Shower curtain defined that whole vacation for her. Don't just visit New York.
Visit TripAdvisor New York.
With millions of reviews, a visit to TripAdvisor makes any destination better.
Some said the U.S. has lost its innovative power. We said America is lighting the way as the innovation nation. Singular insights, superior execution. That's the power of global connections. Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Voted top global research firm 2011, 12, and 13.
I've been so inspired by being in New York because everything from what people are wearing on the street to the way they're interacting with each other, to drive through the West Village at night and you see a couple kissing on the street, or you see someone fighting outside their apartment, or you see so much humanity on a daily basis that even if you're not inspired by your own life that day, you can be inspired by someone else's life.
You got that long hair, slicked back, white t-shirt, and I got that good girl face and a tight little skirt. And when we go crashing down, we come back every time, 'cause we never go out of style. We never go out of style. Take me out.
There's only one place to get more Taylor. We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
I've been on enough radio shows to know that in the middle of an answer, the guy is like checking the boards and looking over notes and talking to other people. Yes. See? Now you're impressed.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't expecting that reaction.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You gotta love it. You gotta love it. Welcome back to the big show today on HTLA Radio 1, New York's Best Talk, and coffee and cigarettes. 3:23 in the afternoon right now for this Thursday, the 12th of March, 2015. 46 degrees now in Central Park. It's going up, 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 and nice and sunny. You gotta be loving it.
Yes.
Yeah. And so we're sitting here with George Takei, Gilbert Gottfried, and, well, the one, the only Louis Lawless here today.
Bullshitters, never keep your mouth shut, always hustling, always looking for something to do and putting things together. That's a American. Look how they took the country away from England.
Yeah.
He's always about that.
Yes.
It's okay. We'll deal.
All right, go a half an hour. Do I get 50,000?
Absolutely, Louis.
You know how to spell my last name on the check, right? It's Louis Lawless.
Yeah, we've got it.
Break for a commercial.
Yeah. Well, we can't, Gilbert. We just came back from one.
Yes. I'd like to have that as my slogan in life.
Well, it could be, you know. we could arrange that, I think.
I remember being on your radio show in Chicago.
Yes, of course, and I never had one in Chicago, but
yeah, and I remember we hung out afterwards and had a wild time.
Oh yes, lots of sex in the alley. Yeah,
and I remember too when we were in the alleyway, pants zipped up.
Right.
There was this one, sleazy-looking guy who walked by, who was staring at us, and you turned around, and he was a what? What's your problem? And you said, like, you don't give a shit.
It's just life, and I love doing it. I love doing these kind of stories anyway.
Oh yeah, they're wonderful stories, Louis.
Now, here's a story I'm sure you're tired of talking about.
Oh, yeah.
I do miss and not bring it up, and that's when you beat up a transvestite.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm about to do it again, too, in a minute. Yeah. Not, of course, naming any names whatsoever, no.
You are a douchebag.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, welcome back to the old coffee shop here. Good old coffee shop. I love coffee. Damn it. And, of course, this episode is, of course, brought to you by the fine folks at Tim Hortons, New York City, now with 8 fine locations throughout the city to serve all of your coffee and baked good needs. And you can enjoy a fine coffee and baked good as you look at the Time magazine cover featuring Hillary Clinton. It's the big thing, the talk of the town today. It's what everybody's going off about, and certainly has nothing to do with my drug problem.
Yes.
Yeah. But nonetheless, there it is, the Time magazine cover entitled The Clinton Way. They write their own rules. Will it work this time? Well, that latest issue of Time, featuring former Secretary of State Hillary Rodham Clinton on the cover, has caught the notice of everyone, and not the least of which, of course, is Twitter. Yeah. As we so often remind our listeners, the Twitter is the new news agency. Yeah. If you're not getting your news from Twitter, you're not getting your news. Anyway, on close examination, the placement of Clinton's silhouette under the M in Time appears to give the likely presidential candidate horns. At least that's what they say. Looking at the thing myself, I see where the two peaks of the M there are making what looks like a silhouette for horns, but it's not really. It's not a thing. It's just not. I don't know what they're talking about here. Really, come on. We're going to have something better than this going on. But, yeah, Twitter is just lit up. There's probably right now about 4 million tweets all about this if you search for that hashtag Hillary Time. Yes, Hillary Time. Yeah. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's Hillary Time. Yeah. And, so, well, I mean, what do you say about this? It's, so what? Number one. Number two, why are you inferring Satan? The religion has, the popularity of religion, I guess I should say, the Christian religion is certainly on the outs right now, what with the Roman Catholic Church losing membership like the plague, like they're hit with those bioterror monkeys, you know. I don't think the Quran talks about Satan, and I certainly don't think that Shaitan has horns like that. I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it. I think it's total BS, and I don't know what the hell everybody's worried about anyway. It's not like we're actually going to elect her. Am I wrong? I don't think so.
Yes.
Oh, okay, well. So, yeah, Time Magazine, pick one up, take a look, be the judge yourself. Yeah. Anywho, let's move on to something, I don't know, at least longer than the story about that, because that was short. Well, I'm not even kidding. Now, that was just like, why is that even in our lineup, Jenny? That's Hillary Clinton, Satan on Time Magazine. Okay, all right. It's a big deal. So what? Move on. I could be Satan on there, too. Actually, anybody could. Photoshop's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Yeah. So moving on, in Washington today, Senator Ted Cruz, the chairman of a key Senate panel overseeing NASA, said that the agency should be spending more of its time and limited resources to actually send astronauts to Mars and less studying the cover of Time magazine. Yeah. Almost any American would agree that the core function of NASA is, of course, to explore space. The Texas Republican told NASA Administrator Charles Bolden Jr. on Thursday during a hearing before the Senate Commerce, Science, and Transportation Subcommittee on Space. That's what inspires little boys and little girls across this country. No, I thought it was Kardashian. Yeah. Well, apparently he says that's what inspires little boys and little girls across this country. It's what sets NASA apart from any other agency. I am concerned that NASA has lost its full focus on that core mission. Cruz, of course, was referring to the Obama administration's $18.5 billion budget request for NASA in fiscal year 2016. The proposal would increase spending on Earth science programs, such as studying the effects of climate change, while cutting funding for the Space Launch System and the Orion capsule being developed to carry astronauts to deep space and eventually to Mars. But Bolden said Earth science and human exploration are interconnected. Monitoring changes in atmosphere and planetary conditions is crucial to understanding how launch capabilities are threatened by environmental changes such as flooding. We can't go anywhere if the Kennedy Space Center in Florida goes underwater, and we don't know it, he told lawmakers. It is absolutely crucial that we understands, yeah. I think I've been reporting to you from Ferguson, Missouri too damn much. Yeah. Eyes, where am I getting that? It is absolutely critical that we understand the Earth's environment because this is the only place we have to live. Damn. See, Cruz is so damn smart. Look at that. The Earth is the only place we have to live.
Yes.
That's the absolute brain power of that man just staggers me.
We're 5 steps away from winning the Academy Award.
Uh-huh.
And we didn't.
Yeah.
I'd like to have that as my slogan.
Oh, you would, huh? Oh.
You know why, Chris? Because you're such a control freak, you don't want anyone to tell you what to do.
Really? Is that? Yeah? You think so, huh?
No. No, I don't.
Well, whatever you may want to call it, we've got some Hubble telescope news of stuff that's actually out there somewhere in space. Yeah. Not even kidding. Well, the biggest moon in the solar system harbors a salty ocean beneath its frozen surface, according to a study that examined the moon's flickering auroras to probe its interior. A number of the worlds in our solar system are thought to have oceans, but this is the first clear-cut data of its kind to suggest that a sea lies hidden underneath the icy shell of Jupiter's moon Ganymede, which is 50% bigger than our own moon, by the way. Scientific models predicted an ocean on Ganymede when NASA's Galileo spacecraft visited Ganymede in the 1990s. It collected data that hinted at an ocean, but new images from the Hubble Space Telescope offer strong confirmation of a liquid body of water inside Ganymede. Galileo's observations provide inconclusive evidence for the ocean, says study co-author Joachim Saar of the University of Cologne. The Hubble data requires an ocean. Finding an ocean on a celestial body hundreds of millions of miles from Earth is no easy feat. Saar and his team turned to the space-going Hubble telescope, which trained its keen eyes on Ganymede in 2010 and again in 2011. The Hubble focused on Ganymede's 2 auroras, shimmering patterns in the sky similar to the earthly phenomenon known as the Northern Lights. A person standing on Ganymede's surface and looking up would see a red glow, Saar says. Ganymede has actually 2 auroras, one around its north pole and one around its south. Both are created in part by the moon's own magnetic field. These auroras don't stay fixed in place. Instead, they wander slightly across Ganymede's face. With the help of supercomputers, the scientists calculated how much Ganymede's auroras would shift if the moon had a salty sea. A layer of salty water would carry electrical current, generating another magnetic field which could affect the auroras. The researchers found that the aurora shift witnessed by Hubble nicely matched the prediction of what would happen if Ganymede actually does have an ocean. Just as importantly, the Hubble data did not match the prediction for an oceanless Ganymede, the scientist reported online last month in the Journal of Geophysical Research. Ganymede's ocean is sandwiched between two layers of ice that's not particularly hospitable to life, says planetary scientist William McKinnon of Washington University in St. Louis, who didn't work on the new study, but source says it's still possible that Ganymede's waters are habitable. Other scientists praised the study for revealing important new evidence about Ganymede's hidden interior and offering one heck of a beautiful distraction from Ferguson, Missouri. Yeah, and that's what we're all about here. But you can't get away from racism too damn long. We now move to another story that's, well, I guess racist. The SAE says racist chant investigations are now underway in Texas and Louisiana. The Sigma Alpha Epsilon fraternity said Thursday it's investigating racism allegations at universities in Louisiana and Texas after hearing that young men at two schools sang or knew of the same racist chant caught on video in Oklahoma last weekend. Spokesman Brandon Weghurst said the chapter of the University at Texas Austin was being fully cooperative and that the probe in Louisiana Tech in Ruston was in its early stages. He said no new allegations have been substantiated. A 9-second video recorded last weekend caught members of the fraternity at the University of Oklahoma, of course, singing a song that used derogatory terms for black people and referenced lynching. University President David Boren ordered the SAE house shut and expelled 2 of its students, identified as ringleaders. We had no idea if this type of behavior was going on underground, Weghurst said Thursday. If we don't know about it, we can't stop it. The Board of Trustees, the alumni of the University of Oklahoma's SAE chapter, released a statement Wednesday night acknowledging the chant surfaced at the chapter 3 or 4 years ago and was not immediately and totally stopped. It should have been. At the University of Texas in Austin, the president of the local SAE had previously issued a statement denying that his chapter had ever performed a similar chant since they attended KKK meetings and cross burnings. The SAE chapter at Louisiana Tech did not immediately respond to an email seeking a comment by us today. A group of black University of Oklahoma students formed following a fatal police shooting in Ferguson, Missouri last summer, linked to the racist video on Sunday, saying that the community needed to be aware. Really? You've got T-shirts that say Black Lives Matter. I think we know. I really think we're all over that.
You are a douchebag.
Yes.
Yeah, well, there you go. Among the group's grievances are low numbers of black faculty and administrators, poor retention rates among black students, and lack of programs aiming at supporting black students. Well, if you kind of think about that for a second, let's see. What kind of program could we institute to support blacks at universities? Offer what, grade 3? I'm just putting the question out there. You know, what do you think? Yeah, no? Well, we're going to go for our second commercial break of the day here in the old coffee shop. And when we come back, well, this is going to hit you New Yorkers pretty hard, actually, because they're saying your memories of 9/11 may be wrong. Yeah, we'll be back in 2.
You've got it locked to New York's best talk, HTLA Radio 1.
Man, I've been to a lot of places over these past 50 years. Seen the whole true north strong and free. 'Cause I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere. I've been to Cooksville, Stouffville, Bainesville, Bowmanville, Bonneville, Unionville, Oakville, Dunville, Brockville, Boucherville, Melville, Drummondville, Kentville, Grenville, Morinville, Maryville, Parksville, Stephenville, Sackville, Spring Hill, Westville, Walkerville, hanging on a windowsill. Hey! He said, wow, that's a lot of places. I said, hang on, there's more. I've been been to Moncton, Picton, Shannon, Vernon, Stellarton, Hamilton, Nipigon, Nobleton, Yorkton, Brighton, Bolton, Beaverton, Brandon, Edmonton, Walkerton, Wyerton, Granby, Miramichi, Charlottetown, Burnaby, Yellowknife, Whitehorse, Corner Brook, Nunavut. I've been everywhere, man. I've been everywhere, man. I crossed the prairies bare, man. I breathed the mountain air. I've traveled, I've done my share, man. I've been everywhere, man. Check it out. Ottawa, Wawa, Mattawa, Chippewa, Moose Jaw, Oshawa.
It could be 7 in the morning.
Or 10 at night.
In Chilliwack, BC.
Or St. Peter's, Nova Scotia.
It could be Michelle.
Or Mark.
Or Jen.
But whenever, wherever you order that cup of Tim Hortons Premium Blend Coffee.
You know that it's always
Always.
fresh.
From Newfoundland and Labrador to Vancouver Island, Tim Hortons, a coffee all our own.
You walked into the hotel as a 5. But when she saw the room, you turned into a weird 7. When she saw the rooftop pool, you went to 11. You two should probably get a room. Oh, that's right. You already did. At Planet Earth's #1 accommodation site, Booking.com. Booking.yeah.
Some said the U.S. has lost its innovative power. We said America is lighting the way as the innovation nation. Singular insights, superior execution. That's the power of global connections. Bank of America Merrill Lynch. Voted top global research firm 2011, 12, and 13.
I've been so inspired by being in New York because everything from what people are wearing on the street to the way they're interacting with each other, to drive through the West Village at night and you see a couple kissing on the street, or you see someone fighting outside their apartment, or you see so much humanity on a daily basis that even if you're not inspired by your own life that day, you can be inspired by someone else's life.
You got that long hair, slicked back, white t-shirt, and I got that good girl face and a tight little skirt. And when we go crashing down, we come back every time, 'cause we never go out, we never style, we never go out of style. Take me out.
There's only one place to get more Taylor. We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.
It seemed like Dean Martin was uncomfortable, too.
Well, that's just because he was running out of the booze, yeah. Welcome back to the Coffee and Cigarettes here at HTLA Radio 1, New York's best talk for this Thursday the 12th. Here's Thursday Double-Double, March 2015. 46 degrees in Central Park, sunny and happy, and we're looking at 45, 49, and 47 degrees for highs, respectively, for the next 3 days, yeah? That wasn't really funny, Gilbert. No.
Yes.
No, yeah, no.
The music is fantastic.
You like that?
Oh, you got to hear it.
Oh, we do. We hear it. We love it, too. Oh, come on. You got to love it.
Break for a commercial.
No. we just did. We just did. So we're back on the big program today, and wrapping it up, we got 3 funky, fun, and horrendous, I guess, stories. Yes, like the news is saying now that your memories of 9/11 might be wrong. Quick, here, quick question. You know, where were you when you heard about the 9/11 attacks, huh? Who were you with? Well, if you're like most people, you've got answers at the ready. But as it turns out, there's a decent chance your answers are wrong. And of course, this comes to us from Time magazine, which portrays Hillary as Satan. So what do they know, right? What do they know? Well, that's the upshot of a new study in the Journal of Experimental Psychology, which examines people's remembrances after the attacks. In the days after September 11th, 2001, researchers across the country asked more than 2,000 people about their personal experiences with 9/11. When researchers followed up at later intervals, about 40% of the stories, or flashbulb memories as they're called in the vernacular, had changed. Human memory is not like a computer, says study author William Hurst of the New School for Social Research. I guess they're funded by Twitter. That's a New School for Social Research, yeah. Human memory is extremely fallible. One quirk, the stories tended to change fairly early, say in the first year when they remained constant, but after that, you begin to weave a very coherent story, says Hurst. And when you have a structured, coherent story, it's retained for a very long period of time. Another 9/11 study suggests that the stress of the day took a toll on the heart health of Americans, even those far removed from the attacks. Researchers in Utah discovered a spike in heart attacks in the months after 9/11, along with telltale changes in DNA strands called telomeres that are affected by stress. The numbers were up significantly when compared to the same period in other years, says a researcher at Intermountain Medical Center Heart Institute Genetics Lab. He adds even though we weren't participating directly in 9/11, it was a very stressful event for the entire country. Go get him, Bin Laden. Yeah. What about that T-shirt? Muslim lives matter. Huh? Yeah, I think we got to get one of those going here. And moving on, we've got, of course, yes, everybody's listener favorite, more bioterror monkey news. Yeah. I would be remiss if I didn't have bioterror monkey news. Yes. Well, new tests indicate that a worker, a human being, at Tulane National Primate Researcher near New Orleans has been exposed to the dangerous bioterror bacteria that is somehow released from their high-security labs on the property. A federal official said today, blood tests conducted by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention indicate that the employee of the Primate Center's veterinary clinic has a probable current or prior exposure to the bacterium. Agency spokesman Jason McDonald said, if this keeps up, I'm going to be out of a job. Yeah. No, actually what he says is that the worker shows no signs of illness at present. The additional testing is needed to confirm the exposure, he said. It is the first indication that a worker at the huge research complex has been exposed to the bacteria, which can cause potentially fatal disease. Tests of other employees have been negative. McDonald said ongoing tests also identified an additional monkey that has antibodies of the bacteria, bringing to 8 the total number of monkeys that have been exposed or sickened at the complex. Yeah. Now, of course, the Tulane officials did not immediately provide any comment. The Primate Center became the focus of federal and state investigations recently after tests in December showed 2 rhesus mac monkeys, which were not part of any experiments, were sickened by a strain of bioterror bacteria being studied at Biosafety Level 3 lab elsewhere on the 500-acre campus in Covington, Louisiana. Both these initial monkeys, which became so ill they were eventually killed, were housed in a large outdoor cage in a breeding colony of about 5,000 animals before being taken to the veterinary hospital for treatment. In recent weeks, additional tests have identified more monkeys that were exposed to the bacteria, possibly during treatment at the hospital. This new discovery of a human that has been afflicted with the disease ensures that we are one step closer to the zombie apocalypse. There we go. Thank you, little Mr. Monkey. Yeah. Well, there you go. There's the monkey dealio, as it were. And, now I guess we got to go on to something a little more serious. I always like to end the show on stuff that's a little more lighter fare, like bioterror monkeys, but I don't always get what I want. No, I don't.
Yes.
No, not seriously, I don't. Well, after University of Oklahoma's President David Boren learned last weekend that white students on a chartered fraternity bus sang a racist chant captured on video, he told a crowd at the campus rally that the students had misused their freedom of speech. How do you misuse a freedom? How? It's a freedom. I guess you know what it is. I think it's because I am Canadian.
Yes.
That, I think when I think about that freedom of speech, I can say anything.
Yes.
Right? It's the free thing, George, and I know you've done enough political studying to side with me on that. Yeah?
I wasn't expecting that reaction.
Oh, okay. Well, okay. Well, I know Gilbert agrees with me, right?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Well, that's all I care about,
He needs love, Chris. Come on.
Well, I know.
You got to dispense more love from yourself. All these people are hurting here.
Oh, if it was only up to me, Louis. Well, anyway, David Boren expelled 2 students accused of leading the chant, calling them, quote, disgraceful. Oh, see, he's exercising his freedom of speech. See? Oh, they're disgraceful. He said, you have violated every principle that this university stands for. And, of course, when this story broke last week, I asked the question, well, what exactly does the University of Oklahoma stand for? Because I didn't even know they had one. Yeah. University of Oklahoma.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, some free speech advocates say that Boren went too far, setting a dangerous precedent that will chill free speech on a state university campus, where messy debates about race, culture, and civil liberties are a de facto part of any curriculum. One advocate said the move could hurt minority students in the long run. Gee, do you think? Well, he's kicked the door open to the possibility of expelling students of color who make offensive statements of race and political ideas, said Michael Myers. No, not that one.
Yeah.
Not that man. Executive director of the New York Civil Rights Coalition, whose purpose of education is to contest idiocy and superstition and to make you uncomfortable. You're supposed to have a clashing of ideas.
I've been on enough radio shows to know that in the middle of an answer, the guy is like checking the boards and looking over notes and talking to other people. Yes.
Well,
see, now you're impressed.
Yeah. No, because that's just what we do. I don't know why. I don't even know why why did you say that? I don't know. Well, Myers, who is actually an African American and not from a slasher film, said he was especially distressed to see news coverage of minority students at Sunday's rally who celebrated Boren's action, which Myers sees as squelching free speech. Holy crap, hallelujah, thank you. My God, this see now this is the first African American here who is actually making any sense. And you watch, he'll be killed tomorrow. Yeah. Well, he said he was especially distressed to see that news. Yes, Boren's action, which he sees as squelching free speech. Many of these students, he said, have no idea of the history of the campus free speech movement. Well, again, it always boils down to that lack of education, doesn't it? Yeah. I've been saying it. The chant, seen in a 9-second video of Sigma Alpha Epsilon members that went viral after it was sent to the Oklahoma University student newspaper, was overtly racist and threatening, mentioning lynching. Boren said the expelled students played a leadership role in leading a racist and exclusionary chant, which has created, of course, a hostile educational environment for others. Well, hey, I would submit this to you, Dave. How about taking the American flag out of schools in California? Yeah. I'm thinking that's probably creating a hostile educational environment. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Eugene Volk, a professor at the University of California, Los Angeles School of Law, said Boren can't kick students out simply for leading a chant, offensive or otherwise. Another word for leading in that situation is speaking, he said. The First Amendment protects somebody who not just plays along with the conversation, it protects someone who starts the conversation too. Like Myers, Volk said Boren has set a very bad precedent. The bottom line is that the university is essentially claiming that just because you harbor bigoted views, you can be expelled for them, he says. Volk said he supported the fraternity's national office in its decision to close its Oklahoma University chapter, since the chant appears to violate the fraternity's True Gentleman Code of Conduct, but for that reason alone. As a private organization, I think it's perfectly legitimate and proper to say we don't want us having anything to do with you, he said. Oklahoma's city attorney Robert Nelson, who has represented several news media clients, sees valid arguments on both sides, a First Amendment case and a Code of Conduct case. Certainly a student has a constitutional right to express even repulsive views, he said, but a university is a, quote, unique institution that has a responsibility not just to individual students, but to the larger community at large. You don't have the right to attend a university you're admitted, and if you're admitted, you're implicitly agreeing to a group of rules that you have to abide by, he said. Since that video went viral this week, it has had a negative impact on the university community. Nellen said that gives the university the right to respond, in part simply to uphold its reputation. Though students don't give up their constitutional rights, he said, the argument can be made that the university has some power to protect its educational environment from disruptive conduct and perhaps even disruptive speech. Boren's swift action has generated support. Reverend John A. Reed, president of the Concerned Clergy for Spiritual Renewal and pastor of Fairview Missionary Baptist Church in Oklahoma City, told the Oklahoma newspaper this week that this is a wake-up call for all universities in the state. Wow, there's more than one university in Oklahoma? It's a wake-up call for all universities in the state to investigate every instance of racism and disenfranchisement of any student who has walked the campus of your university. One of USA's strongest free speech advocacy groups, the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, praised Boren's aggressive response to the video in a statement issued Sunday. The ACLU of Oklahoma encouraged the university to be equally aggressive in ensuring that the due process rights of students remain protected throughout any disciplinary actions. Of course, what they actually said was hang the white kids. Yeah. Well, the mayors of the New York Civil Rights Coalition said that the students' due process rights have already been trampled. The mere accusation from the president that he finds speech offensive gets you evicted from housing and campus grounds, he said, and not only extricated and made pariahs, but tossed off campus. Volk says there's a very strong case to be made for expelled students to sue the university to be readmitted, he said. There's a downside to that as well. If he were their lawyer, he might win the case, but the more discussion about this continues, the more people will know your name and what you look like. You might come out of this with a First Amendment victory, but also with your reputation shredded. So there you go. That's the lesson for today. Don't piss off the blacks, because they'll get you. There you go. And I know I speak for everybody when I say that, poor George being Asian, he's been kind of left out of that popular group.
I wasn't expecting that reaction.
No.
Break for a commercial. Yeah.
No. Actually, we're out of time today on the big show. I want to thank HTLA Radio 1, of course, for having me here and, not firing me and suing me. And it's good to be king of New York. And, of course, to all the listeners, thank you very much for listening to the show every day. And, of course, we enjoy bringing it to you. Louis, thank you again for your interaction today. It was wonderful having you.
He called me, and he called me, and he kept calling me, and I wouldn't answer the phone.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And, of course, Gilbert, it's always a total joy to have you here.
But I love every second of it.
Well, thank you, sir. It's great to have you here.
I'm the most talented guy in this room.
Yes. And George Takei, thank you again, as always.
I've enjoyed it thoroughly. It has been a fantastic experience.
Well, of course it has.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, just a reminder, check out tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, when Coffee and Cigarettes is back with the Friday Frappuccino. We'll have more of this joyous stuff for you and well, hell, maybe even so much more.
Yes.
Yeah. There we go. So that's it. Have a great day, and we'll catch you on the flip side.
And support the show for the love of God.
We're New York's best talk radio, HTLA Radio 1.